the season 5 edition of our charmed ASMR. So, you may notice that a couple of things are different. Um, we are not using the Blue Yeti microphone. I figured that if we have the mini mics, we need to put them to use because I personally love the mini mics. I just haven't really made an opportunity to use them. So here's our opportunity. And also, I'm using a new camera app. I'm not using the camera that is native to my phone. So I'm hoping that this turns out well. It's very hot in here because the heater is on and the lights are very hot. So if you see me sweating at any point, just look over me because it is warm. As always, I would like to start the video by thanking our lovely patrons from Patreon who made this video possible. A list of their names and TikTok ads, where applicable, will be available at the end of this video. If you would like to join the Patreon to support the channel, please look me up at the Power of G or click the link in the description. Now, let's get into it. So, I don't want to say that the first spell I'm trying to get out of the way, I don't want to use that phrase. But I know that it's going to be interesting for me. JD has requested that I read the fearless spell that Piper defaced their ancestral home with chalk from Dollar Tree to create. That spell, which goes on for about 15 years, goes a little something like this. Locked in, boxed in, full of fear, my panic grows manic till I can't hear. In need of reprieve so that I can breathe. Remove my fear. Please make it leave. That spell, is a lot, and it was very interesting to make my way through. I'll leave it at that. It was very interesting. Our next spell was requested by Justin, and Justin requested that I read the spell that Leo wrote to vanquish the siren. I actually had forgotten that this was an entire spell and really just remembered the we hearken ye part. So that spell goes a little something like this. O singing lady of the dusk, who preys on men, turns love to lust. We hearken ye into presence to vanquish the evil essence. You know, even though Leo wrote it, and I will never give Leo much, anything really, that spell actually was kind of cute a little bit. It ate a little bit, not too much. It didn't set the world on fire. It wasn't something that they really ever should have written in the Book of Shadows, and they didn't, but that's not the point. The point that I'm trying to make is, it's Leo, so I'm gonna say no, but if Leo hadn't written it, outside of the we hearken ye, it really wasn't that bad. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't the worst they've ever written. It wasn't door unlock, no magic block. So, I'll give him that. I'll give him that one tiny crumb of a thing. That one teeny tiny crumb of a thing. Our next spell was requested by Quentin. And Quentin requests that I read the spell that Phoebe wrote to vanquish the warlock from the future. This spell, I'm not gonna lie, is a little ghetto. It's one of my least favorite that she wrote, but in hindsight, it's not that bad. It goes a little something like this. We call upon Medusa's bones, turn their flesh into stone. It's a little ghetto. It's giving. I had about 5 minutes to write this spell, and I had to get something out because if I don't, then were gonna be turned to dust, which actually ended up happening anyway, so she could have just kept this to herself. Moving on to the next spell. The next spell was actually requested by Catherine. Catherine requests that I read the spell that the Charmed Ones used to track the sea hag, and it actually ended up turning Phoebe into a mermaid. It's always fun when spells work like that. That spell goes a little something like this. Powers of the witches rise. Find the hag who speaks in lies. Balance chakra, focus chi. Lead us through the cruel sea. I don't like that spell. I don't like it. Number one, the powers of the witches. Dear God, they stayed having to rise. I don't know how they got anything done because they constantly had to rise. Constantly. So, bless their hearts. And then balance chakra, focus chi. I don't know. There's something about that that just, I don't know, it sounds a little cheap almost. But then at the same time, I kind of like it. I don't know. I think this will be one of those spells that I go back to and say, that one was actually pretty cute in retrospect. Our final spell is one that I personally love. And is it going to win any awards? No. Is it one that's going to set the world ablaze? Probably not. But I love it all the same. I love the spell that the evil witch cast when she was cursing the man into the mirror. It sounds so elegant for some reason, and I just love it. And that spell goes a little something like this. Freedom's lost must be unwitting. Into the glass to do my bidding. I feel like as soon as she went into that glass herself, she already knew she was gonna cast it. She knew that. And I love that spell so much because it sounds menacing and evil, but witty at the same time. And you know that Mama had spent centuries writing that spell. She was just waiting. But it would actually be a little bit more impressive if she came up with it off the cuff, because that would mean my girl was ready. She was absolutely ready. So, I hope that you enjoyed hearing the season 5 spells as much as I enjoyed recording this video. A list of our patrons will be included, and if you'd like to follow me on social media, you can find me everywhere on TikTok, on Twitter, on Instagram, at They Call Me Mr. G. You can also find me on Instagram at Mr. G Reviews, where I talk about different movies. And starting in February, I'm going to be reviewing and rewatching Wicked City, where we're going to have some special guests if you'd like to watch. And if you would like to watch me and my friends or listen as we rewatch Charmed, then follow the Nexus podcast. You can find us anywhere that you get your podcasts, including YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you for season 6. I can't wait to see what our patrons request for season 6. Have a great night, a great morning, great afternoon, or whenever you're watching this. Bye.